I help others to improve by expecting their success. There have been times, even though I teach this stuff, even though I live this stuff, I breathe it, I eat it, I am in this stuff called law of attraction all the time. There have been times when I will look at one of my children and I will say, "Oh, what are you doing?" And then I have to stop and I have to do the work of, first of all, soothing myself, telling myself that my children have guidance. And no matter how much I try, I cannot make them hear their guidance. They have to hear it. So I soothe myself. And then I get to a point where I say, everything's going to work out just fine. I'm going to see them where they see themselves being. And if I can see them where they want to be, then I am helping them. You see, sometimes we feel, good morning, Julia, good to see you. Andrea, good to see you. Sometimes we feel like we should say something, like when our children are little, or when we are in a relationship with someone. I know I've done this with my parents. You don't know what you're talking about. I've done this with my husband. You don't know what you're talking about. Look at it this way. Do it this way. And what I've discovered is that when we talk to people with that tone of voice, their ears close. Because when we talk to people in that tone of voice, we might not know this. And I know that we don't know this because we are so consumed by what would be so good and beneficial for them that we are full of this energy to tell them what they should be doing. And you know what? That energy does not have love in it. It has, I'm going to push you into this. I'm going to drag you to your well-being, into it. And the reason it does not have love in it is because when you behave that way with the people that you care about, you are focused on their inability as opposed to being focused on their ability. When we focus on somebody's inability to do something, then we are giving our energy to a version of them that is unable. And we cannot create for people. Don't get me wrong. We cannot create anything. We cannot manifest anything for people. But what that does is our energy is not high on the emotional scale and the other person can feel it. And when they feel it, now they have to counteract it. And so we make it harder for them to go up the emotional scale, which is what we want for them. With the bottom of our heart, the people that we love, we want them to be high on the emotional scale because we want them to succeed. And worrying about them is not the way to make it happen. Telling them what to do is not the way to make it happen. Because when we tell them, when we worry about them, we are seeing them as not being able to do it for themselves. But when we soothe ourselves and we say, they can figure it out. It's okay. It's taking longer than I want it to take. I want them to go faster, but it's okay. Because they have the ability. I see them as being able. I see them as being successful. Now the energy that you send to them is powerful. Now the energy that you send to them helps them go up the emotional scale. Now the energy that you send to them helps them to see themselves as successful. And this is how we help